which, be so for real right now, I'm losing my patience with all the tattoo transfers. I literally roll my eyes.
I think it would have been better just to murder him, and then Belikon would have been like,
why do you
did he
always have to
even
use that word?
murder?
Murder just
Okay.
sounds so violent.
Is he just like sitting there and waiting for the door
That's
to
what it
open?
seems
I was
like.
like, how did he know? I feel like killing him would set a bigger message. It's not like he's going to stop.
Why'd you laugh like that?
Because obviously she's not in control of her power.
Welcome back to BookTeaTalk, the book podcast where two sisters read a book together and talk about it each week over a cup of tea. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Maddie. Today we are diving into Brimstone Chapters 28 through 39. And spoiler alert, a lot is about to happen.
Yes, these are some of those chapters where we are not just getting plot, we are also seeing power structures, relationships, and motives starting to shift all at the same time.
Now, we will be discussing full spoilers for these chapters, so if you haven't read through chapter 39 yet, now is your chance to stop the video.
And if you have read ahead, please don't spoil anything past what we talk about today in the comments.
Yes. And before we jump in, what tea are you drinking today, Kayla?
Today, drumroll please. Today, I am drinking cinnamon apple. Copying it from last week.
What a copycat, bro. Honestly, we were having some technical difficulties this morning, so I forgot the name of my tea.
This morning? I didn't know a whole 24 hours has passed already.
24? Why would it be 20?
I don't know.
I think it's called sachet or something, green tea. It's a special green tea.
Sachet?
Sachet. Have you heard of it? Oh, no.
I don't think so. Anyways, I totally missed
good.
I missed what flavor it was. What flavor was it?
It's just the green tea. It's called a sachet. It's like a specific type of green tea.
Interesting.
In my howdy y'all mug.
I got my warm hugs mug, which I think is my staple.
Put it close.
Put it close?
Yeah, because I can't see that far away. Warm hugs in a mug. You can't read cursive.
You can't read cursive?
No.
That's crazy considering you're a banker.
I type. What is that supposed to mean? It's not math.
Do people not come up to you with checks that they've like written out and stuff?
Okay, this is a side note. I had a customer, after I told him that I couldn't read cursive, older man.
You told him that?
No, because he had like, I couldn't hear, like I couldn't understand what he was saying because he had like a throat thing. And he would write stuff down in cursive. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I can't read that. And I was like, I can't read cursive. So the next day, he brought me 3 books from half-price books so I could, like, practice my cursive.
Be so for real right now.
I'm so serious.
How long ago was this?
That was when I was working at Rockwall. It was a while ago. But, yeah.
That's crazy. That is actually really funny. You never told me about that.
Did I not? Yeah,
no.
I was embarrassed. That's probably why.
I love that so much, actually. All right. If you guys are enjoying following along with us and our adventure in reading, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next upload. All right. Tea, ready. Notes, open. Let's talk about it.
And you better subscribe. Thanks.
Side of anger.
But before we jump into this section, let's go ahead and take a second to reset where we left off because chapters 21 through 27 covered a lot and it was kind of a while ago.
It was last week, wasn't it?
It was like 2 weeks ago.
No, that can't be right. I feel like it was last week.
This Friday will be 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I still need to edit that video.
So they won't know it's 2 weeks ago.
No, exactly.
Okay,
so this was definitely a setup heavy section. A lot has happened. It was thick, it's big, chunky, but it is in a way where everything starts connecting.
Chunky. Saeris' side of things, we learn that her power isn't something new. She's had it since birth, and it's tied directly to the Quicksilver. and that is often the first rune to awaken for alchemists and the hungriest for the power.
That really shows in the Quicksilver pool scene because that didn't feel like she was controlling magic. It felt like the magic was almost testing her.
And meanwhile, in Zolvarin, Fisher's storyline escalates in a very different way.
Between the propaganda labeling him the Butcher of Zolvarin and then what happens during Cleansing Day, things get complicated pretty quickly.
Because he did stop something horrible, but he also wiped out an entire group of guardians in the process, as he should.
But it also really could start blurring the line between hero and something people might start to fear.
We do get some big world building moments like the Hazarax, confirming that every time Saeris has used her power, it cost her something.
And Elroy reveals that there are families who've known about the Fae and magic this whole time in Zul'Varin, which is very interesting and makes the world feel a lot bigger than we originally thought, or that even Saeris thought that it was.
Yeah, a lot more magic than we thought. The section ends with probably the most important moment, the discovery of another Quicksilver pool.
And that Quicksilver pool reacts to Saeris and leads Fisher, Carrion, and Hayden to jump in, knowing she's likely on the other side in danger.
So, going into this next section, everything feels like it's starting to come together in a way, but it might all fall apart at the same time.
And the big questions now that we have is Saeris actually in control of her power?
Or is something else starting to take over her?
Why'd you laugh like that?
Because obviously she's not in control of her power. This girl does not know what she's doing.
All right, let's get into it. So, chapter 28 opens, and immediately something feels off, but it's not dramatic right away. It's more like Saeris just knows something isn't right.
So it's not like an external threat at first, it's internal. It's her instinct. And I feel like it's been happening more and more with her lately, where she understands things before they're even explained.
And what she realizes here is that the Quicksilver, it's awake. And I feel like every time that that's been mentioned in the past before, it has never, ever been framed as a good thing.
Because awake doesn't just mean active, it means accessible, like not just for her.
That's the problem because if she can access it, that means other people can too. And it also gets worse because she tries to close it.
And she can't.
Yeah, I really liked how that was written because it's not like she is struggling or hesitating to close it. She just has this internal instinct where she's like, I can't close it because something inside of her is telling her it's already too late to close.
Which is honestly more unsettling than if she had tried and failed, because it means something is already in motion. Or
Right. And
someone.
then we find out what the something is. And it's Orious, which is the advisor to none other than King Belikon himself.
Bestie Belikon. And it's not random at all. This is Belikon reaching directly into Amarantrea.
He's not just reaching, he was waiting because the first thing Orius does is basically thank her for leaving the door wide open.
Yeah, and I don't know. I felt odd because was he just like sitting there and waiting for the door
That's
to
what it
open?
seems
I was
like.
like, how did he know?
I mean, they
He's
know
just
that she's an alchemist.
yeah, but were
She's
they
opened
just
the Quicksilver before, so I feel like in my head, I'm sitting here thinking they've just been chilling and waiting.
she opened it for Fisher
Mhm.
whenever he went to
Yeah,
Zalvarin.
true.
So I'm
No one
not
jumped in through then.
understanding. Exactly. So maybe it was just like a quick open close, and then this time it's just kind of like open
Just
for
loosely
too
open.
long, which that reframes everything. It's like this wasn't just a mistake, it was like an opportunity that he was really waiting on.
And it really makes you question how long they've been watching. Because, like you just said, it's not like he jumped through when she opened the door for Fisher going to Sylvarin, but have they just been sitting in front of a pool of Quicksilver and waiting for a slip up? Jenna?
Or did they get notified?
Mm.
Maybe they have Quicksilver on their side too, you never know, because the
Or an
Quicksilver is like a
informant?
right. Like they had the Quicksilver is kind of like a middle ground. They're not the gods. They're tied to the gods, but they're not
The
good or
Quicksilver.
evil. Right. I don't know. But
Is
Orius
that
comes through.
is that a
Of course.
theory?
What? That the Quicksilver is helping them? or somebody who is
Maybe.
tied to the Quicksilver is helping them. I feel like it's not
Maybe.
a drawn out enough theory,
No, you're right.
but it's a comment. How about that?
Okay.
But Orius comes through and he doesn't come in like aggressively at first. He's really calm, composed, and he's reasonable, kind of.
Which almost makes it worse because instead of outright threatening her, he starts laying out the situation for her instead, which is,
Hmm.
we'll talk about it.
He's manipulating her. He talks about the court being fragile and the food supply being unstable and how quickly everything could fall apart if that balance breaks.
And I think that's what makes this moment very interesting to me, anyways, because for the first time, we're hearing someone else acknowledge that the system isn't sustainable. Like what the court is doing is not sustainable long term for them. Like it's just not going to work out that way.
Yeah, and instead of fixing the problem, he's offering control. And then we get into the actual offer, which doesn't really feel like an offer at all.
No, 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 because it feels like a list of demands disguised as a solution for her. Like, okay, you'll be safe, you'll be protected, you'll be taken care of, but in exchange, you have to lose everything that makes you who you are.
Her alchemy, her autonomy, her role, her god weapon. She basically would become something to be displayed, and he literally says that she will be a jewel in Belikon's crown, which I don't know who would want to
I
be that.
hated that sentence
Yeah.
because all it tells you everything that you need to know, right? It's not about partnership and working together. No, it's about owning her. It's about possession. He wants to
Hmm.
have this shiny new alchemist.
Yep. And Everlayne would also be returned to him as if she's some item and not a person. And then, of course, we get into the part where Fisher is mentioned.
And what's in store for Fisher, you may want to know? Public execution. Mhm.
And I feel like that's the moment where the entire thing stops being even remotely believable as like a deal that they were going to make. Because at this point, it's not about stabilizing anything, it's about eliminating the threats.
I think that's what makes this scene so interesting because Saeris doesn't immediately react emotionally. She actually listens, she hears what he has to say, which is kind of a bit of a sign of growth for her because back in Quicksilver, I mean, she got into this whole mess in the first place because she is a very quick overreactor or reactive person.
Yeah, and I think it also kind of tied in to whenever she got the rune, right? Or not got the rune, but got the rune sealed just now with the Quicksilver because they asked her a ton of questions before she was finally accepted. And one of them was, would you kill your mate or would you let him die for the greater good or something? I don't
Mhm.
remember exactly what it was,
I
but
think it was like, "Are you
this.
afraid of losing him?" or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. Are you afraid of losing him or I don't know, something like that. And it kind of just puts in perspective like she just got tested right now. Because even though the deal was sounding slightly okay, as soon as like her mate was mentioned, she was like, "Yeah, no. Like it's done."
Right.
So, it just proves that she was
She
being
would do anything
honest
for
with the
him.
Quicksilver. Yeah, correct. But it makes the moment really heavy because you can tell that she was actually like considering the implications until it all fell apart.
And I wanna ask you something here, actually. If you take Fisher out of this equation, would this deal make sense to accept, like, in your opinion?
No. No, having like they know Belikon. They know how he is. Letting him be in control of anything is just no. Why Saeris is not gonna wanna be just some little alchemist that follows all the rules from King Belikon. No, that's not something she would want to do or anybody in the court would want her to do. So,
Yeah.
terrible.
If you're looking if you're looking at it purely from a survival standpoint anyways, stabilize the court, avoid collapse, prevent more chaos, like, that all sounds good.
Mhm. Yeah, but it's not. It's not good. It's not worth it in my opinion. It's not worth it in Terrace's opinion or anybody else's. I'm pretty sure if Fisher found out that she made this deal with Belicon, oh, he would go ballistic.
He would, I think so too. So all of this assumes that the system would be worth saving. If she were to take the deal and it would make sense, it would be because the system is worth saving. And more importantly, the Belikon would actually honor any part of this long term. And I don't think that he would.
No, I don't believe for a second that he would. And Orious does bring up something else that I think is really important to talk about.
Yep. Because the fact that her friends, her mate, they're all still oath sworn to Belikon, which means they have to serve Belikon and the Winter Palace, meaning they have to do what he says.
This was like a big shocker for me because I think they
Yes.
mentioned it, but I don't think they really said how big of a deal this is.
Right. Right. No, I absolutely agree because if you think about it, like that could be really big in the um in the future, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's almost like they're foreshadowing something. But this whole oath could change everything because it means even if she says no, they're still tied to him regardless.
And that's a terrifying truth because it means the control isn't just political, it's built into the system itself. Like they have to obey who they're sworn to. And then we get into one of the biggest shifts in this chapter because when she moves to attack Orious, something changes.
But this scene was so cool. I love this
It was
scene. I was like,
juicy.
So her new Quicksilver, well, it's not new, but it's like sealed
Newly
now.
sealed.
Newly sealed. Her newly sealed Quicksilver rune lights up, and suddenly she doesn't need to forge anymore.
Yeah, because guess what? Up
Bam!
until now, her power has always required steps, tools, processes. And now she just thinks it.
It's almost like she's not working with the magic anymore. She is the magic. Herself is the magic. And the way that she forages Solace
Into 2 blades instantly, which we already
So-
kind of assumed it would happen that way.
I think we thought it was daggers, but I don't
We
think she
did.
forged daggers. She forged like 2 mini blades, which is, I guess, a
Yes.
dagger.
It's kind of like a
Right.
dagger. I mean,
It's a
I
little
feel
bigger than a dagger.
I thought it was close enough to consider our
Theory, correct? Yeah.
suspicion about it correct anyways.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
she had no preparation, no hesitation. She honestly just went bam, 1 sword, bam, 2 swords, which honestly makes me think, is the Quicksilver guiding her to do this? Obviously it is. Like she doesn't just know I can do this now.
No, I think it is her. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't need to think about it. She just sees something she wants and then it just happens.
She feels and does.
I really don't think the Quicksilver is guiding her because again the Quicksilver is kind of like neither good or bad. It's just there.
That's fair.
It's just a powerful being. But after she does all that, everything breaks into chaos. The guards attack, and we finally see her really use her power in the way that we haven't before. It was crazy. It was so crazy.
It was so action-packed, let me tell you. She was controlling the metal, redirecting attacks, handling multiple people at once. Like, not even, like, having to think about it. It was just, like, one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other.
She has a shield. Now, her shield is, like, a blue, like... I was imagining it like a small little, like, orb going around her to, like, protect her.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was imagining it as. But, yeah, Miss Girl can forge a shield out of her arm. But, like, some Iron Man type crap. You know what I mean?
Okay. Type crap.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool.
I thought it was so cool. This is when I knew I couldn't stop reading. I read it all in a day. It was so good. Anyways, so then the chaos kind of slows down because the Null Blades change everything.
Suddenly, there is something she cannot control. It is out of her grasp. And Orious just casually says, "The Winter Palace remembers," which to me is giving Game of Thrones. The North remembers.
I've never seen
I
Game
had to
of
put that in there.
Thrones. I've never seen that.
You need to watch it.
I don't know I've tried like 3 times and I don't know
You
what's
have to
going on.
okay, so tangent. I am making Beck watch it right now, and literally
Okay.
it was so embarrassing. There's 8 seasons, okay? At the end of every single, actually, when I first started, I was like, you need to give it a few seasons to really get into it, whatever. Tell me how at the beginning of every single season, I was like, oh, this is when it starts getting good. This is when it starts getting good. He started saying, dude, you've said that every single season. And I'm like, no, you're right. Because I don't know what it is. When I was watching it myself, it was magical. It was good. It was like, oh, give me more. But like rewatching it, I'm like, why was I so like hyped for this? Because it's okay, but it
Like, I
doesn't get
genuinely
good
just
until season 7.
okay, well, it's kind of in my
At
opinion, it's
least
kind
as
of
a rewatch.
boring. It's boring, and I don't
There's
know
a
what the
lot
crap's
of
going
political
on.
intrigue to it. If you're not into politics when it comes to stuff, then it's not for you.
Like, old-time politics, is that what it
Like
is?
Regency politics, yes. Kings and queens but not like kings and queens in the traditional sense. It's like fantasy king and queen politics.
So not history at all.
No, it's fantasy. It's not rooted in real people at all. It's dragons and magical stuff and zombies and there's
Zombies?
there's
There's
like different
zombies? Good
different
God.
regions, and there's like a lot of political trying to get like alliances and enemies, and it's just like a lot of politics really.
Sounds like
But
brain
it's
rot.
good. It's good.
But where they said the Winter Palace remembers, this means it's not anything new. Like the Null Blades, they know what's going on. They've dealt with the alchemists before. So have the alchemists always been seen as a threat? Like maybe they're so powerful that they have to find something to tame them in a way? What do you think?
They could have just been so powerful that they needed a method to control them, to keep
Yeah.
them under wraps.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. But finally, okay, and this was what I was upset about when reading this because I was like, we just read the chapter before. We know that right when the Quicksilver opened up, Fisher knew something was wrong and he went in there, right?
Mhm.
Why did he take so freaking long? Oh my gosh. I was so upset with him.
He's literally teleporting through a different realm. Maybe there's a
Oh, good
process to that.
God. Don't make me
I
mad.
don't
No way. No way. But he shows up, finally, and chaos again, of course.
because when his shadows come out, the whole dynamic shifts again. But what I found really interesting is how the scene ends, because Fisher wanted to kill Orious and Saeris stops him. She's like, don't do that.
Yeah, I had thoughts on that.
Yeah.
But not because she doesn't want him killed, but she wants him to go back and tell Belikon exactly what she's capable of now.
Which, can you just say that's a power move? I'm just saying, because it is also a little risky. It could just be taken as a challenge and not a threat to Belikon.
Yeah, what did you think? What did you think about it?
It was definitely a bold choice. I'm not sure if it was the safe one or the right one, though.
In my opinion, I think they should have just I feel like killing him would set a bigger message because once he comes back and tells how powerful she is, it's not like he's going to stop. He's just going to send more men. He's going to make it 10 times worse for them. I don't understand. Like, I get she's trying to show him, like, she's powerful, don't mess with me. But he's going to try to get what he wants until he dies.
And
He's going
also,
to die trying.
yeah, and also it's now known that between her and Fisher, the Null Blades don't really stop them completely. So now they just know, okay, we have to find a different way of combating their powers, you know what I mean? So it just kind of gives them like a heads up more than a like thrown off kind of vibe.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think it was smart to leave him alive. I mean, I think it would have been better just to murder him, and then Belicom would have been like,
Why do you
did he
always have to
even
use that word?
murder?
Yes, you could just say kill him. Murder just
Okay.
sounds so violent.
Yeah, he tried to kill her. Murder him.
No, he tried to murder her, so he should be
That's what I'm
killed.
saying. Same thing. Yeah.
There's a difference.
He should have been killed so Belicom could be like, did he even make it to Saeris? What do I think happened? I don't know.
Exactly.
Question mark. It would have been way more of a powerful move. But no. Her ego, too big.
Yeah.
But anyway, chapter 29 slows things down a bit after everything that just happened, but it's not empty. It's more like we're starting to understand the consequences of what just happened.
And right away, we do learn that while Hayden is finally in Yuvelia, we still don't know when he's going to wake up. Because if you'll remember when Saeris first arrived in Yuvelia, she stayed asleep for, I think, 10 days?
It was a long time.
Question mark? I don't remember. But it was a long time because they're humans.
I can't wait to get into Hayden. We're going to be talking for a while about that, but I've got to hold it in.
You might have to hold it in until next week, because I think that's in part 2.
No!
I think so, yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. Oh, well, that's fine. But yeah, Hayden kind of just hangs in the background for a little bit, and we shift to college, and we get the backstory on Kingfisher's name, which... it was pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah, it was a small moment, but it seems to add a lot. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Callie Hart, every single scene, and I know I'm very analytical, I'm nitpicking everything in this book, but I do feel like every story, every tale, every tidbit of information we get, I feel like is going to come back up. So, keeping that in mind, we find out that Kingfisher's mom found this ceramic bird that she really liked, and it was very interesting because she didn't really often find things that she was attached to. So she found this bird, a kingfisher bird. I'm assuming that was its name. I think that's a bird. Is that a bird?
Yeah.
Is a bird? Do they have a kingfisher bird? He's supposed to know all these bird facts and he can't even tell me off the top of his head.
Is there a kingfisher bird?
It is a bird? Okay, so a kingfisher is a bird.
Yes, there is a kingfisher bird. Kingfishers are a family of small to medium-sized, brightly colored birds in the order Colophomeragrasis.
Cool. Anyways, she finds this ceramic bird, a kingfisher, and she is fond of it, and she decides that that's going to be his name. You didn't remember that?
It was a small detail.
Maybe it's not.
Yeah, and Archer mentioned that she didn't like people touching her little ceramic bird, so it clearly means a lot to her.
Anyways, I think we kind of already touched on this, but do you think that story is just character building, or do you think it'll come back up later on?
Everything comes back up later on. I'm sure his freaking real name is going to be inside the ceramic bird or something. I don't know.
So I did see a spoiler on what his name is. I'm not going to tell you, though.
Do we know it already?
No.
Have we heard the name already?
No.
So we find out at the end of this book.
Yeah, that's how I found out. Because I don't look at the back page.
The back page?
I was trying to see the last page. Don't look at it. Because I was trying to figure out how many pages were in it, and I saw the word, and I was like, ugh.
Why would you do that?
I always do that because I take extensive notes on my book, so I was trying to look at how many pages were in the book, and I saw it.
Never, ever. I know.
Did you know?
I know your eyes just get the best of you sometimes.
Did you know that Carrion is also not Carrion's real name?
Yeah, we learned that this chapter, I think. Right?
Okay, I didn't know if I made that up in my head or not.
No, yeah, because he was wait, Carrion?
Carrion.
No, we learned his last name.
Dianthus.
Yeah, and then they were like, do you want me to still call you Swift? And he was like, yeah, Swift has always been my name. I don't think we know his first name.
Swift? Yeah. His first name?
Yeah, we don't know anything about his first name.
Yeah, no, we don't. I don't even know if he knows his first name because obviously he was taken from Yuvelia, but I'm sure it's written somewhere.
Probably.
Anyways, back to it.
Side tangent. Did you hear about, what is her name, the Akatar girl?
Sarah J. Maas?
Yes. Did you listen to the podcast?
I didn't because I didn't want to be spoiled for Throne of Glass. There were Throne of Glass spoilers in there.
Was that? I didn't watch it either, but I saw clips, and apparently she is not a big fan of her mother-in-law, and that's why all the men in the books don't have moms.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
Because apparently, what did her mother-in-law say to her? She said something she said that her mother-in-law reads the books and pictures her son in the sex scenes.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that clip.
Crazy!
Yeah, no, that's pretty crazy.
So she hates mother-in-laws. So,
yeah. Don't blame her.
Anyways, I just thought that was funny. All right, next.
Okay, and then we get Fisher looking at Solace now that it's been reforged, and we finally get the meaning of the words that are newly engraved in the metal.
It is mercy and honor. and that is written on the blade in Old Fae, and it gives off an intentional feel for a weapon.
Especially when you consider how much power that they hold and that Saeris holds.
Yeah, I don't so when it comes to, like, what the blade looks like, I don't think she is, like, consciously doing it. I think it's whatever it wants to be, right?
Yeah, because it changed in that fight scene, we didn't even mention it, but it goes from being 2 blades back into 1 at one point in time and then back into 2, so it kinda just seems like the
Mhm.
blade is gonna be whatever she needs it to be in the moment, which is kinda
Yeah, but
cool.
for the actual writing and what designs are on the blade, I think it's whatever the blade wants for itself.
Yes, that's the
Yeah,
Quicksilver picks that.
exactly. Yeah, pretty interesting. And then Saris asks the question that kind of changes everything. How does an oath sworn fae break their oath?
And the answer, you may ask, is they don't, which is gonna be a problem.
Captain Obvious. Saris, Captain Obvious. Okay. What kind of question is that? But yeah, it's a big problem because that means everyone that's tied to Belikon right now is still tied to him no matter what Saris does. She cannot break the oath.
And Fisher explains that they are fine as long as Belikon isn't physically near them, as that is what is required to command them. Which, hello, you're trying to fight the guy. Do you really not think that you're going to be in the same vicinity as him during that fight? Like, huh? I hope they have a
Yeah.
contingency plan for that because isn't going to work.
Because technically he could be like, all y'all turn back on and kill
Hmm.
Saris. And then they're going to have to. That would be
Or stop
interesting.
fighting, and then it's just going to be
Or
Saris
stop
and
fighting.
Belikon fighting.
Yeah. I mean, she could do it with her new shield and her new weapon.
Maybe she's tough enough to beat him 1v1.
1v1 is crazy. But yeah, these details are very intentional to me. I just think that it's foreshadowing and then it's definitely going to come back later on in the story.
Yeah, I absolutely do as well. We also get another physical change with Saris, which is interesting. She now has silver veins on her wrist and arms. It's giving,
Vampire.
I was gonna say fourth wing lightning.
Oh yeah,
Didn't her veins turn? Maybe not. The Venin do.
the venom veins. Yes, they
Yeah.
turn black.
It was still giving
Close.
the same vibe to me.
You cannot hate on my girl author. Okay, she's great.
Okay.
Leave her be. She's not stealing from anybody. Thank you.
I'm not saying she
She
was
probably
stealing, I'm
hasn't.
just saying it was giving the same vibe.
She probably hasn't even read Fourth Wing, but whatever.
I bet she has.
Anyways, this could be something that's really overlooked, the silver veins, but it shouldn't be. And every time she uses her power, something seems to change in her. This feels like a small thing now, but it's kind of the detail that will probably come back later on. Like everything else in this book comes back later on.
Do you think that it's just a side effect of using her magic, or do you think it's more like a transformation?
She's transforming into, I don't think she's transforming into anything. I just think that, like, she's using it and the Quicksilver is, like, becoming a part of her, if that makes
Kinda
sense.
like with Quicksilver's, or with, Kingfisher's eye.
Right, like, she's using it, so it's, like, running through her whole veins, and when she's not using it, it
She
kinda
did go
goes
in the
back.
pool as well, so it could be just in her blood now.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously in her. It
Yeah,
said it was crawling down her throat, her eye, like, she said that.
yeah,
So, do you think when it was doing all that, do you think, like, if she would've, like, failed the test that it would've killed her?
probably,
Because it was going all in her?
probably,
Interesting. But we then get a promise between her and Fisher that they're not going to be splitting up anymore because everything seems to happen when they split up.
which is great in theory, but I just don't know how practical that thought process is gonna be. It's not
Yeah,
possible.
no. But we get a really small detail, but it's kind of huge. Fisher might now have the same Quicksilver rune as Saeris.
Which this stood out to me because up until this point, it seemed like a thing that is exclusive towards Saeris. Like Saeris is the one that had like the elemental runes, but it makes you wonder why it's now showing up on him also.
Told you this before, okay? And nobody believes me. Okay, my theories are never correct. But we know that her runes are tied to the fact that they have a mating bond, or at least that's how it's like interpreted in the book. So is this happening because of the bond, Or as she seals her runes, will the rest of them show up on him as well? I thought that she was getting these runes because of the mating bond. That was
Yeah.
my thought process. You said no, these are her own runes. I don't know.
So you think that he's gonna be getting all the elemental runes as she accepts them or whatever?
I think it's a part of the mating bond. I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but
I
I
wonder if
think
he'll
it
be able to
definitely
use
is tied
them.
to it. Oh my god, star power. Then both like grab each other and like star power. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Anyways, we end the chapter on a lighter moment with Saeris giving Fisher a tattoo, which, be so for real right now, I'm losing my patience personally with all the tattoo transfers. Every time I read one, I literally roll my eyes. I'm annoyed with them. I genuinely am at this point. I feel like it is every other chapter, someone is giving someone a new tattoo.
Look, I'm imagining them falling away. Okay, I'm imagining them going away and then new ones coming and going away.
I don't think that's what's happening, though.
I'm hoping it's happening like that.
I don't think it is. I think they're just collecting tattoos like it's currency.
Well, if they are, they are. Oh well. Let's move on to chapter 30, shall we?
So we get woken up immediately with chaos, archery. Archer basically bursts into Saeris and Kingfisher's room saying, Taylana needs help, Master. Master, Taylana
Taylana?
needs help. Taylana. I'm pretty sure it's Taylana.
Okay.
Anyway, we don't have to fight over them all the time. We could just say what we want to say.
We
It's the
could. We
same
could just
thing.
say we could. The second that they get into the room, it's clear that something is really wrong with Everlayne, what's new?
Which is kind of easy to forget that Everlayne is even in the book because we've barely had any interactions with her. But
Literally only in the first book.
she's not unconscious anymore, guys. She's actively reacting. She's having a full-on seizure. She is completely out of control.
And the detail that got me was that Carrion said that he kicked the door down because he heard screaming, and she was strangling Taylor.
Yeah, that's terrifying because it means whatever is happening to her isn't a passive thing. They are literally acting as her.
Right.
Wild.
We then get the moment where Everlayne starts speaking, but it is her voice this time, not
Mm-hmm.
not
Not a
Adina.
mysterious voice. Yeah.
Not Adina's voice.
Yeah. And it kind of makes the situation worse because she's literally saying things like, leave me alone. Like she's aware on some sort of level. It's kind of eerie.
Yeah, and she's clearly not in control of what's going on. And Taylena explains to everybody what it feels like, and that description is enough to like stick with you because it's scary.
The idea that Lane's mind is awake, but her consciousness is behind a wall, almost as if she's trapped inside of her own body and mind, and there's something else pressing down on her.
Yeah, I was imagining like her seeing figures, like black figures. I imagined it as like sleep paralysis. I
No,
don't
me
know.
too.
Did you do the same thing? Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. So, do you think that this could be possibly because of a rot? Like, could it be involved in any way? Or do you think maybe she's
Um,
just stuck because of the whole vampire transition thingy bob?
yeah, I'm not sure. I do believe it is something at the very least connected to what is happening with the rot, just because it feels like everything's connected. But it does feel like something more targeted towards her as well. So maybe it's a combination of both. I'm not quite sure.
It's the null blades. It has to be. It really does. But right now, the rot is just like spreading everywhere, and I'm sure it's aggravating for all of them to have to deal with that, plus everything with like Everlane and people being asleep. But then her eyes snap open, and behind her eyes is a large shadow figure.
It's giving very ominous vibes, and it also confirms that something else is there.
Do you think she's like in another dimension?
Maybe.
I think she's
Maybe she's in a god's dimension or god's realm.
like the book we just read,
Throne of Glass?
Throne of Glass. Yeah. You don't remember?
I remember.
Like that. I think that's what it is. But when Saeris touches her, we get the shift again where it feels like something is speaking through Lane and it's repeating, the gate is open, it cannot be closed.
And this immediately ties back to what we just saw in the beginning of this episode, which means this isn't a random message. It's confirmation that the Quicksilver portal might be officially awake.
But she still has the ability to close it now.
She does, but it's giving the impression that something is, like, forever changed.
True. That's a good point. But Manir then comes in with a comment about the rot that seems very important. No magic he has ever heard of could cause something like this.
Which means that the magic is either incredibly old or something that has never been seen before and is completely new, and neither of those options are very reassuring in the hope for finding a solution for them.
My opinion is that it's very new. I
I think
think
it's
so.
new too. I think it's,
Yeah,
like, magic that's, like, evolved to be something else that they've never
definitely.
seen.
Yeah. And this is when they finally start forming a plan.
And so Saeris and Fisher are going back to Amontreath to find more information, and Carrion will be going with them, which I found was interesting because, like, Saeris was like, she was literally about to tell Kingfisher that Carrion should go with them, and he beat her to it and was just like, yeah, Carrion's going with us. Like, I think
Yeah,
they're low-key besties.
he likes Carrion now. After
He
what
does.
happened and them talking and being all
They are
brotherly over
bonded.
there, they are bonded, yes. But Danya is heading out to pull the warriors back from the border, which, by the way, is a big move. And they are abandoning the position that they've held for years.
Do you
That
think
was
that that was the
crazy.
right call for them to make?
I think if it saves them, yes. I think they know what they're doing. I know that this is probably what I don't know if it's Belikon behind the rot, but like this is what whoever behind the rot wants.
Yeah, it's almost like choosing between protecting what you currently have or holding your ground to prevent like further advances. But I don't
Hmm.
really think that there is a right or wrong answer in the scenario. I think they're both can lead to bad.
Travesty.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think it's I think it's the best decision. I think it's the best decision if they think that's what's going to save the most amount of people because they
Mhm.
saw how the rot affected the camp before. They need to save as many people as they can.
Yeah, for sure.
We then get Laura going back to get Isabel, which I think is going to matter in the situation more than we think, especially with how little we actually understand of what's happening with Lane.
And then we jump back to Amontreath, and immediately something is off once again. The entrance is barred.
At first, it feels like they're being shut out. Then the guard says it's actually to keep people out. They're actively preparing for Belicon's people to come through again.
And then Sarah makes a comment about Tao. Her connection to him feels like a leash, which definitely stood out to me because it's a very specific way to phrase their connection.
Because we have been questioning his intentions already, and now she's giving a voice to feeling it as well.
And then they're heading towards his chambers, and Saris can sense that there are a lot of people inside of his room. And at first, it seems extremely suspicious.
Very suspicious. But that's when Zolvina shows up and immediately just inserts herself in what's going on.
As she always does, she casually drops that she knows exactly who Carrion is. She straight up says people would pay a big price for his head, which I have a question about. I feel like maybe I'm making this up. Either towards the beginning of these chapters or like sometime in Brimstone, I thought Saris told Carrion he could go back to being called Carrion Dianthes because it's not like they were hiding who he is because he straight up announced who he was in the middle of the maze or whatever. So in this moment, why is she like trying to say, "Oh, I know who you are," like it's some big secret because it's not.
I agree with you that it's not some big secret, but people don't know he's there. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
people know of him. He's like a historical, like, oh, the child that was supposed to be on the throne and left, right? So I think Belicon and their people know, but
But like the rest of the High Bloods don't.
I don't think it was announced, because the only
I see.
person that was there was who was the guy? Malcolm. And the only person that was there was Malcolm, and obviously he's dead. So and Tal, but I
So
don't think he's gonna go tell everybody's business.
do you think Sylvania knows who he is then because of Malcolm or Belicon or something?
I think
Because
she
she
just
wasn't there
knows.
that I know of.
I mean, she was in Tal's room.
She
Tal
was on
could
the
have told
outside
her.
of his room.
She came out of his room.
Mm-mm.
Well, why was
She
she
came
there?
from, like, a hallway or something.
Why was she there? Do they still got a
Anyways.
thing? Go on. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, interesting. And I think it's weird that she said people would pay a big price for his head, like Belikon. Obviously, that's who Belikon or his men
Yeah.
is who
I
she's
don't think it'd
talking
really be
about.
anyone else.
Yeah, so she's got some ties, definitely, to them, which is foreshadowing once again. But
Mhm.
I loved the way that Saeris responded to this. She completely shuts it down and she orders Ovina to not speak about it and to not even look at him, which
Period, as you should.
Mhm.
Saris also questions Zavania on her responsibilities to the court, where she learns that she's in charge of all communications, meaning she controls information in and out of the court.
So during all this, she uses this opportunity to ask about the letters that the group had sent to Foley back in the day when she finds out that he never got any of them.
All because he isn't a part of the court. Which
Mhm.
means all this time, Foley has assumed that the Lupo Proelia never tried to reach out to him because they didn't care about him anymore. However, that couldn't be further from the truth.
And Saris then orders Zovina to deliver them personally. And then Tal finally comes out of his room.
Covered in blood, which in the moment I didn't know personally if this was because there was something spicy going on or if there was a sacrifice taking place. I low key thought it was a sacrifice
I
because
thought
they
she was
mentioned
like,
there being tension behind the door.
yeah, I thought she was like catching him like doing something bad. Like
No, right. Me too.
like hurting somebody. So yeah, I was slightly relieved. Very slightly.
Yeah, very slightly.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're going to pause here for this week. We're going to continue in part 2 on the next upload, hopefully a week after this one goes out, but I've been slacking a little bit lately, so we'll see.
That's okay. Catch us then, catch us there, subscribe, like, go follow us on
Mhm.
TikTok, YouTube, Spotify.
Leave us a comment to let
I
us
don't even
know
know.
if you are feeling the same way about the book that we are,
Let us
or
know
if
if
we're
you have any
crazy.
unhinged theories. We love
The more
we
unhinged, the
love them.
better. Love them.
Yes.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.